until we rise up, make our voices known, speak the truth, these people will never stop. We have to push back on this. We have to push back on this. We can no longer be timid. We can no longer be afraid of the backlash. No longer afraid of cancel culture. We have to step up and make our voices known. To tell people, no, we're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.
Thank you so much for liking your comments and subscribing to the channel. Please share this with your friends. Smash that like button. Smash the subscription bell. Share this with everybody you know. We're trying to make sure people understand that they're not victims, that they are empowered for greatness, and all this stuff that's out here that's telling them otherwise is false and will not benefit them in the end. So please, I appreciate that. Share that.
You want to know what's really behind all this talk about race and slavery? In particular, how the arguments are framed to make the founding of our nation, to make the founding fathers, to make the fabric of our nation appear to be tainted and worthy of critique and worthy of disdain. You want to know where that's coming from? Do you really want to know where all of that is coming from? Do you really want to know where all of that is coming from? I'll tell you where it's coming from. It's coming from a spirit of communism, which originates from the devil himself. Yeah, I said it. It's coming from the devil himself, operating through a system of government called communism. You gotta understand, the elites and the people in power, they want to retain power. You gotta understand, our democratic form of government is a direct threat to global elitist power. Because in America, the people have the power, not a small cadre of folks who make decisions for everybody else, like in communism. In America, the people have the power. But unfortunately, in academia, unfortunately, in the media, in entertainment, in our culture, they want us to become communist. And you hear all the nice fancy buzzwords they use, talking about equity, talking about fair share, talking about everybody needs to pay their fair share. Those are buzzwords, code words for socialism, which is the gateway drug to communism. We're on a slippery slope towards communism. And everyone that loves their rights needs to stand up and fight this. We need to stand up and fight this. I'm looking at this article here in Time magazine. You can't tell the story of 1776 without talking about race and slavery. Look at that. Instead of celebrating our country, understanding how far we've come in the concept and in the matters of race, how while at the founding of our country, yes, we're grappling with the tough subject of race and slavery. Yes, I concur that this should have been addressed at the founding of our nation, that this should have been addressed at the beginning of our nation. Nevertheless, the seeds were planted in the Declaration of Independence to produce the fruit of abolition, to produce the fruit of true freedom for the enslaved Africans and others who were here. But the people who craft these articles, craft these blogs, they're not coming at it from that approach. You gotta understand, a lot of people hate this country. While that's sad for me to say that, a lot of people hate this country. They have been programmed in public schools, in college, through the media, to hate this country. And that's all a demonic influence, because you gotta understand, America is the last beacon of freedom. If America falls, there is no other country that will stand up for freedom. There is no other country where the gospel can be preached freely. And so it's an anti-God spirit of communism that's masking around as socialism, that's looking to use race to divide us, that's looking to use race to cause a revolution. They want to use race as that wedge. They couldn't use economics because, generally speaking, most Americans are prosperous. So economics could not be used. So they're using race, and they keep at it. They keep at it. And the people that get hurt by it? Black folks. Black people are the ones that are hurt by it. Progressive liberals do not concern themselves with the plight of black people. They're not concerned about that. They're concerned about power. And they'll use whoever and whatever to accomplish that. And so now you see all these hit pieces on America, talking about America's systemically racist, talking about how you can't talk about the story of America without talking about race and slavery. Yes, you can. We need to have those discussions about race and slavery and the part that black people have played in building this country. I admit, those stories have not been told, but they need to be told in a way that generates a love for the country, not hatred. This fosters hatred. This fosters hatred. All this is doing is fostering hatred. Hatred for America, hatred between black people against white people. That's all it's doing. They want to start a race war. They really do. And the Bible talks about that in Matthew 24, how ethnicity rise up against ethnicity. But they want to start that race war. They want that race war because they want to use that chaos to usher in communism, socialism, a better way, democratic socialism, as Bernie Sanders calls it. And so they need a revolution. They need a nexus event to cause that. And so they're going to keep hammering on America as systemically racist. They're going to keep hammering on the fact that America participated in the horrible slave trade, participated in the scourge that is slavery, and then the events that happened after that. But none of this talks about the exceptionalism of America. None of this talks about the achievements of America. It's all negative. And they say they're doing this on behalf of black people, but black people will be hurt the most by this. And they have been hurt the most by these policies. Think about it. Nearly 75% of babies born to black mothers, the mothers are unwed. Think about that. Nearly 75% of babies born are born to unwed mothers in the black community. You want to know what's the direct cause of that? The Great Society that Lyndon Johnson ushered in, the welfare system. That's the direct cause of that, because they moved the man out the house and daddy government came in. Uncle Sam came in. Uncle Sam said, I'll take care of you, but you can't have that man in your house. You got to understand the push behind this, man. They want to drive God out of the black community. Communism is an anti-God system of government. It is. It's an anti-liberty, anti-God system of government. And so all of these hit pieces, everything, I just read this here, where a Black Lives Matter founder called the U.S. flag a symbol of hatred. These people will never stop. And they don't care. They are trained Marxists. These people will never stop. They will never stop. It's time out for us being afraid of people not liking us. That ship has sailed. We have to stand firm for truth. We have to stand firm and tell people, no, what these people are pushing is not good for you. What's good for you is free enterprise. What's good for you is capitalism. What's good for you is personal responsibility. What's good for you is private property. That's what's good for you. Government handouts, that's not good for you. Any solution that begins with the government is not good for you. The solution has to start with God and include the family and go from there. It cannot start with the government. The government should not be included in that. And we have to say that. And we have to voice that strongly and boldly. Because if we don't, our nation will never be the same. And the people that will be hurt by that the most are black people. You want to know why these big cities have these huge housing complexes, these huge housing projects. And you know who lives in those concrete jungles? Black and brown people. That's a form of socialism, people. Government assistance. And you see where that gets you. In bondage. Locked up in a prison. Do you want that in this nation? Do you truly want that in this nation? I don't think so. Let's lean into free market ideas. Let's lean into biblical principles. That's what sustained us in the past, and that's what's going to keep us in the future. Because we are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. And we have to speak that consistently.